Hi, in this video, let us discuss about polymorphism. So let us see this class person. It has name, age, and gender. These are the instance variables of this class. It has a method display details. This method display the details of a person. Okay. So now we have a class called employee. This class extends person. So employee is a subclass and person is a superclass. Employee class has its own instance variables like ID and designation. It has a method display details and it displays employee ID and designation of the employee. Then we have a class called customer. Customer class extends person and it has ID and reward points. It has a display details method. This method display customer ID and reward points for the customer. Okay, so now let us have another class override demo. Inside the main method, let us create the objects of these classes. Okay, so let us create a person object using person class. Name is John, age is 25, and gender is male. Now let us create the employee object. Employee equal to new employee, and we need to pass the arguments to this constructor like name, age, gender, ID, and designation. Let's also create customer object. Customer C equal to new customer, and we need to pass the arguments to the constructor. So now we have this. We also have to pass name, age, gender, ID, and the reward points. Okay. So now we have created these objects. Now let us have one more method in this class. That method takes public void int object. This method takes person object as a parameter and it will call the display details p dot display details. Okay. This will print the details. Now we can inside the main method we can call this. We will make this print object method a static so that we can call this method within the main method. Okay. So now let us call this print object method and we can we can pass we can pass these objects and see what would be the output. Okay, so let us also declare a variable r of type person, r of type person. Then we can pass this r to this print object method. We can assign the object reference to r. First we will assign first we will assign r. We assign the person object to r. The r variable is of type person. We assign person object to r variable and we are passing it. So now we will see what is printed. What would be the output now? So let us run this code and see the output. See now the display details method of the person class is person object is called and the name, age and gender are printed. Now what we do, we will assign value object, assign the object employee object to the variable r. We assign employee object variable, employee object reference to the variable r, and we can call the print object method now. Okay. Now we will see. Let us comment this code. Now we will see what is the output. So now what we have done is we assign the employee object reference to the variable r of type person, and we call the print object method and pass the r. So let us see what is the output now. Now the employee object method, display details method of the employee object is printed, is invoked, and the employee ID and developer are printed. Designation are printed. So now we comment this also, and we assign the customer object to R. We assign customer object reference to R, and we call the print object method and pass the R. Now we will see what is printed now. So now we will see the output. This time the customer object display details method of the customer object is invoked and customer ID and reward points are printed. So two things we need to understand here is, one is when a method parameter type is superclass, then we can always pass the subclass object references arguments. So in this case, the print object method parameter is of type person. The print object method parameter p is of type person, but we can also pass the subclass objects like employee object and customer object to this method. It will work. Second thing is, when we which method is to be called, which display details method is to be called is actually is decided only at runtime, because when we create the object, right, when we create the employee object or customer object and assign that object to the variable r, which is of type person, so the based on the type of object reference, the appropriate method is called, and the type of object is only found out during the runtime. So it is called runtime polymorphism. It is also called dynamic method dispatch, because dynamically the appropriate method is dispatched. If the object reference is person, then person's display details method is invoked. If the object reference is employee, then display details method of the employee object is invoked. And if the object reference is customer, then display details method of the customer object is invoked. So that is decided only at the runtime. Okay, so this is called runtime